I'd want for us to, meditate on going from strength to strength. Going from strength to strength. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X at Hope FM Live. Team online, you know what to do. You write a comment there uniambie if I'm audible, and also kama picha iko shwari. All right. I'll be reading from the book of Psalm 84 from verse 5 to verse 7. Psalm 84 from verse 5 to verse 7. Blessed is the man whose strength is in you, whose heart is set on pilgrimage. As they pass through the valley of Baca, they make it a spring. The rain also covers it with pools. They go from strength to strength. Each one appears before God in Zion. All right. As I speak about going from strength to strength, and we'll be drawing, a lot of lessons from this portion of scripture, I want us to declare strength over the month of August. There are times in your journey of faith that you get this sense of weariness and, spiritual fatigue, and you really feel weak, even in prayer, weak in study of the word, weak in fellowship, hata utaki kuona watu, and I'd love for us, even as we start off the month, this being the second day of August, that we'll ask God for strength. Scripture says that seek the Lord, seek his strength evermore. And that is my prayer for us, even as we start this devotion today, that you'll receive strength from Zion. As you appear before God, you'll receive strength to push on, even to the end of the year, to push on with your walk of faith. We are not of them that draw back unto perdition, but we are of them that believe even to the saving of our souls. When you're weary, when you're weak, this is the time that the enemy will attack and ensure that you draw back and even go back into sin and even, go back further than where you are pulled out from. All right, Jacob Mwakuli, Evelyn Odur, asanteni sana. Believe now we are good to go. And Jacob Ledama, God bless you. Blessed is the man whose strength is in you. Blessed is the man whose strength is in God, whose heart is set on pilgrimage. This is verse 5 of Psalm 84. And I really love the B part, whose heart is set on pilgrimage. That is to say that your mind, in as much as you're looking at being healthy, prospering, succeeding in all that you do here, I think the last month on Route 8 we have really been talking about do not lose sight of the ultimate destination of a believer, which is heaven. We may be caught up with seeking a good life here and forget that ultimately we are heading to heaven. We should remain pure. We should remain, on the straight and narrow. Because after all is said and done, there is where we will go to after we finish, our time here. And I love this, that blessed is the man whose strength is in God, whose heart is set on pilgrimage. When your heart is set that I'm just a passerby, I'm a sojourner here, I'll prosper and all, I'll have impact, I'll, do lots and lots for the kingdom, but I'm set, my heart is set that I want to meet with this Jesus at the end of the age. You are blessed because as you seek strength from God, you're not just seeking strength for the now, but even the strength to remain on the straight and narrow, the strength to remain vibrant, to remain fervent in spirit, fervent in prayer. As they pass through the valley of Baca, they make it a spring. The rain also covers it with pools. Verse 6 now of Psalm 84. Baca here, the valley of Baca. Baca, Bible scholars will tell us that really is a verb speaking about weeping. And so it goes to show that many could be in a space where they are in tears, they are in worry. It is a space of weakness. As they journeyed through the valley of Baca, Baca also speaks of dryness, a space where you're in a season of drought, could be spiritual, could be material, could be, even relationally, that you feel like you're in a cave, you're in a wilderness, actually is the right word of some sort. But these people whose strength is in God and whose heart is set on pilgrimage, that they know I'm just passing by. Things may not be okay right here, right now, but I'm not going to dwell here. I'm on my way, to somewhere. These kinds of people, even as they pass through the valley of tears, of weeping, of dryness, as they pass through a wilderness season, they make it a spring. Why? Because their strength is in God. The rain also covers it with pools. And you can imagine the rain covering a desert place with pools. Pools speak of abundance of rain, abundance of provision. But it is because, number one, their heart is not set on worldly things. Their mind is not set on that which is earthly. They understand I'm a sojourner. And most importantly, their strength comes from God. Verse 7, they go from strength to strength. Each one appears before God in Zion. And really, this is where I was headed to, that as we continue with the month of August and even to the end of the year 2024, there is that which you have trusted in God for the year. And probably nothing seems to be happening right now. And you're wondering, hey, and you've started feeling very, weak and weary. And you feel like I cannot continue with this. I want to encourage you to continue appearing before God. They go from strength to strength. Each one appears before God in Zion. This is the only way you can have access to divine strength. It is to appear before God. Take your weaknesses there. Go to him in tears, because the valley of Baca we have shared is really speaking of, a space where you're weeping. You're in a wilderness. Take that, dryness, if I could use that, before God. Take those tears before God. What I'm really trying to say today is, do not fail to appear before God. There is a certain kind of spiritual fatigue that comes on a man, and you feel like hata sitaenda that prayer session. I'll not even, have my own devotional time. I'll not go for fellowship, and you really feel fatigued. However, I want to encourage you today, my brother and my sister, continue appearing before God in Zion. Why? Because you go from strength to strength when you appear before him. If you remain alone in isolation, you can be sure that you'll continue to be weakened, burdened by thoughts. The enemy will actually capitalize on that to ensure that your fatigue goes on to become oppression. However, as you appear before God, you will go from strength to strength. It may not seem like so when you start off, when you persist, when you insist on, remaining in prayer, remaining in righteousness, remaining in the study of the word. At that moment of weakness, inaweza as if, hey, what am I doing really? I should just go and sleep, or I'll not pray today. Let me just, go online or something. And you do away with your, quiet time with the Lord. That is how you end up being oppressed even more. I want to encourage us in the month of August, this being the second day. Let us continue to seek the Lord and his strength evermore. And do not fail to appear before God in Zion. Many people, even when they mess up and they sin, that guilt actually drives them away from God. However, my question is, how then will you find help if you run away from the one that can actually forgive, can actually do away with your iniquity, with your transgression? How then will you find redemption, restoration? Probably you're listening in and you're in that kind of situation that you messed up kidogo hivi. And now, instead of appearing before God in Zion, you feel like, wacha tu nikae kando until I sort my issues. He's the one that can sort you out. Appear before him with that guilty conscience. Appear before him with that sense of condemnation. He's the one that can actually take it away. Do not fail to appear before God. Why? Because we go from strength to strength as we appear before him. And that valley of weeping, the valley of Baca, that valley, of drought, and that valley of fatigue, that valley of pain, that valley of fear, you'll find that you make it a spring. The rain will come, provision will come for you, spiritual provision. Even times of refreshing will come. My brother and my sister, please do not fail to appear before God. Drag yourself to the presence of God. Do not neglect, your silent, your quiet time with God just because you feel weary. Drag yourself there. Enda useme, I'll pray even if I'll pray for 20 minutes and nakuanga nimetenga like 2 hours. Nimetenga. Okay, like 2 hours, but you feel like I'm just fatigued. Go there and spend 20 minutes. Register your presence in Zion. Continue appearing before God in Zion. Why? Because you'll go from strength to strength. Kindly send in your prayer requests on WhatsApp 0717400555 or on text 20933. Most importantly, if you are not born again or you backslid, write to us. Andika hapo asema, Devi, I want to come back. I want to return back to the fold. I want to appear before God. Pamoja with all my sin and all, appear before him. Anasema, though our sin be red as scarlet, atatusafisha that we might be as white as wool. This is Root Yetu. Unasikiza Hope FM, where you listen and live.
Hope FM, another quality service from Christ, is the Answer Ministry. Hii ni Full Tank.